Hey folks, I'm Chris with Southern Motor Company. Today we're going to do a quick review of our 2016 Nissan GT-R. Please stay with us. Many of you watching already know about the Nissan GT-R. There's videos from Top Gear. There's guys that daily driven exotics. There's guys that do piles of videos. All I'm going to do is give you a basic overview of the car that we have that's for sale. Come join me. This car's got right at 80,000 miles. When we got it, this area had some nicks and chips on it. There's a good sized scuff right here. Our body shop over at ProTech, they went and they pulled the bumper off, grinded it, sanded it like they should. Nice work. I just want you to know this has been, here on down, has been repainted. It's high quality. It was done correctly. Zoom in right here. Not necessarily zoom in, but get a little closer. These are available aftermarket. These are available brand new. Someone might want to put a carbon fiber one there. Someone might want a factory one as well. It wasn't that bad. It's the worst part of the car is this portion right here. I left it on their factory. I left it. I just didn't replace it. Not that I didn't have time or the money to do it. We just were like, you know, I put this on. Somebody's going to come in here and want to change it to something different because there are various versions. Come on to the headlight right here. Right here. Little bit of clearage has flaked right there. Just a smidge on the headlight, on the beam here, okay? I had all four wheels. Any curb rash, nicks, any imperfections they had, they were sent to Quicksilver. I've known Eddie since pretty much the day he opened. He refinished all of our wheels. I do happen to have, in case anybody notices, I do have the correct caps from Nissan to go back on there now. He took them off when he did the work, and I was like, just bring them to me how they are. Tires are great. They're the Michelin, I think they're the Super Sports. Michelin tubeless, Pilot Sports, my bad. Pilot Sports, the correct tire, the run flat for the car. Now anybody who's watched our channel and watched vehicles I've had in the past, they know I love GTRs. I've had R32s. I am waiting for the R34 next year or two, probably 2 to 3 years before I can buy one. I'll have it personally. But they're just great cars. We sold for what, in the mid 50s, our 2010, I drove it for 4,000 or 5,000 miles. It had 100,000 miles on it. That was 5-6 months ago. The 16 though is a little different. The wheels are different. Rear valance is different. I guess this factory carbon portion for the belly pan or for the rear valance is different. But essentially your tail lights, your wing, your bumper, your body lines are all essentially the same. They didn't change the car much. A few interior appointments, which you're going to see in a second. Brakes are fine. Rotors have a little bit of wear. I'm just telling the customer because they're not terribly expensive to replace if you're into this level of car, but they probably have quite a bit of life left in them currently. Now, it'll be in our description on our webpage as well, but the first thing I did when I got this car, it's the first thing I do on any GTR we get. We have a shop we use, West Ashley. We use Auto House for most of our imports. We also use European Road and Racing for some of our exotics as well. But the bell housing, the rock tumbling noise I call it, this one has been replaced. This car has maybe 70 or 80 miles on that job being complete. For what our shop charges us to do it, and for what the bearing, you know, for the whole bell housing with the new, I think it's called a Knopke bearing. I might be wrong how I'm saying it, but with the new updated bearing from, I think it's ATS we use, it cost me $2,000 to $3,000 to do it correctly. Some folks might have to pay more to have it done when the time comes. Some folks don't ever do it. They just drive around rattling like crazy, and it's just a noise they make. GTRs have loud transmission. They're just loud overall. There's so much technology in this car and so much going on in the drivetrain. It's going to make some noise. This is pretty quiet. It wasn't that bad before. I just wanted it better, and for the level of car this is, and what I want for this car, any little thing I can do to make it better for the next person, we did. So that's really the exterior. I mean, I can pop the hood if you like. Here. Now, if I remember correctly, what 12, 13s on up are, I think, 545 horse, and I may be wrong. Every other GTR I've had has had a, I guess it's just a base silver cover. I'm not sure what year they went to a red cover. The person who built it is Hiroyuki Ishikawa, if I said that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. So like a Celine, a lot of specialty cars, you know, who built AMG Sport Package or AMG cars, your S models, your GLS, your SLSs, all your AMG products have the person who built the GT350s. It's kind of neat touch. Find them on Facebook. They could be your friend, you know. So I said we go for a drive. Talk about the basics real quickly. You get some interior shots, and that's a wrap. I don't want to do a long, drawn-out video for folks. Right. You know, listen to my GTR cold start. This is my 0 to 60. Look at my launch control. You know, so me destroying an Audi R8 on the interstate. Me in Texas doing 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds in my 2,700 horsepower twin turbo, blah blah. So, but it's an amazing car, very reliable. I've had very little issue in the GTRs I've owned over the years. I think the only thing I did in the 2010, and I had it for about, it's between 5,000 and 8,000 miles. There's a sensor on top of the transmission that kept locking the car out. It put it in limp mode, and $200 or $300 and loosen the transmission to get at it. It was solved, and that was on a 100,000 mile car. It's still a Nissan at the end of the day, folks. You know, Nissan, Toyotas, and Hondas. So. Anyway, I can ramble all day, and it's getting hot out.
All right, Chris, tell us about the driving and the drivability of a Nissan GT-R and what you love about it.
Just, they're solid cars, lots of power. Lots of power for a production car, you know, without heavy mods. So many people modify these cars, which is fine, to each their own, as they say. I feel at home in the cars. They're comfortable. You actually got a little bit of leg room even when you're, you know, cramped up and you're sitting in the, I mean, they're just comfortable cars. You know, armrests is right here. Oh, they handle well.
Right.
You know, people need to, if there's folks who haven't seen it, they need to go watch the Top Gear video it's from 08 or 09 when the GTR was released in America. I think in 08 you could get a GTR in Japan. And they called it the Skyline there, I think it was. But Jeremy Clarkson does a really neat video on Top Gear. Actually, he like twists his neck going around a turn. He talks about how there's a special knurling on the tire, or on the rim, that helps keep the tire from falling off under extreme cornering. How they had looked at putting the power, directional headlights.
Right.
But the car could veer so fast, those motors couldn't keep up. Plus, they want to keep the weight down as well. So it's just a
very responsive.
Yeah. It's savage, the stuff it can do, and the records it holds. In fact, I think it actually. Someone might comment and say I'm wrong, but I think it actually ran the Nürburgring faster than a Porsche 911. And actually, at the time when it's like on Top Gear, they have like the different levels and faster cars. It was like number 8 or 9 or 10 with cars that cost 3 times as much as this thing was.
Right.
You know, like.
And there's your brakes in action.
Yeah.
The braking's good.
I had to focus on the car in front of me.
That's right.
Get it? It's a Ford Focus. But
now, the interior inside of this car, this is a really nice color. It's something different, right? Most of the ones you've had are usually got black interior.
Black suede. I think I had one that had red. But ivory is kind of rare. Randy was pulling the numbers earlier, the what do you call it, the build sheet, and I think he said reds or this ivory is a $4,000 option to get this color combo. You might be wrong, but it's something to look into. So I'm just doing my best for people to see the car in action, see it driving.
Right.
You know, no warning lights, no check engine lights. You know, air's cold. It's actually pretty quiet in here for what we're driving. I can go into comfort mode, I guess, and maybe make the shocks a little quieter.
Which this bridge right here is allowed on any car.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, 526.
So yeah, but we're doing 72, 73 miles an hour comfortably. get off on Virginia Avenue. I don't need to take a real long drive.
Yeah.
I like the paddle shift because a lot of cars, the paddle shifters travel with the steering wheel.
Uh-huh.
So you're doing this, but you want to downshift or upshift as you're turning. Well, you got to make sure your hand's at that angle and you're pressing the button, and
that's right.
You're really not turning a half a turn anyways to where you're losing it. So it's not like you're rotating too far. You can't find the gear shift. But like when you're over this way and maybe you want to downshift or on a turn, well, you got to be on the steering wheel, which is fine. I guess that's F1 cars that way, I think. But I just like the fact that it's right here.
Yeah. They stay right there.
Probably not a big deal, but I just.
No, that is.
To some people it's normal. To some people it might be different. No, I gotta wait on this.
Yeah, unless you want, let me get out somewhere and get a, like.
Nah. Maybe people can see the car. They know what it's like.
Yeah.
We're just letting them see that it runs and drives. Lots of cars out today.
Yeah, beautiful day.
Yeah. Slid that whole corner.
Really?
Yeah.
That felt great.
That was 57, I think it was.
Okay.
55, 50. I got a guy in a Busa. I don't want none of that.
It felt like we were going faster than 57.
Around the turn?
Yeah.
No, we were about 50, probably 55, 57. All it took was a little and we're off the edge.
I mean, the handling's incredible. I mean, it just took that turn so easy.
Yeah. And I actually took it tight. I could have gone a little. I kept that inside line. I mean, I could have gone probably. I was actually on the inside of the curb. I was probably 2 feet from the curb. Could have been probably 4 feet in the middle there. You can leave all that in the video. That matters.
Yeah.
We're just showing we were pushing the car a little bit.
Right. Not too many cars you can do it like that in,
Yeah, my Viper, we just spin out.
Really?
It just spin out. So, but no, keep this in mind. I wanted folks to see that I'm not afraid to drive one of our cars. I'm not afraid to push one of our cars that are for sale. This is a lot of money for a car. It's a lot of money for, sport. I mean, technically for the amount of car you're getting, it actually doesn't feel like a lot of money compared to what these things were built to compete against, if there is any competition. You got R8 all-wheel drives. You've got little Lamborghini all-wheel drives. I mean, so just for the money, there's so much technology in these cars. I see them all the time. I see them in auction block 150,000 miles sometimes. I'm not going to buy one with 150 on it, but it doesn't mean you can't drive your car that far. Air's cold, windows are fast. I mean, look how the interior's held up. Now, a good portion, that's probably the person who owned it before. They just took care of their car. This thing sounds awesome with a Meister shaft exhaust. My very first GTR, the 09, was in titanium. It's actually on our, it might be not our website, but our Google Photos. It should be on there. It was called Titanium. It was 1 year only in 2009. And I really should have kept that car. And I bought it from a well-known internet / YouTube sensation, if you will. You've heard the story.
Yeah.
And then, actually, I sold it to them the first time. I sold it to them. Funny story. Okay. So, my very first GTR, I guess it was like 2011. Fella calls me up, buys the GTR, we ship it to him. I get a phone call like 9 months later. He says, "Hey, you Never met the guy. He just sent me money, and I sent him his paperwork, and we shipped the car. He said, "Hey, you want to buy that GTR back?" He goes, "How many miles are on?" He goes, "I don't know. I've never driven it." I go, "What do you mean you never driven it?" And he goes, "I never drove it." I was like, "I don't understand." He says, "Well, I had it dropped off at my office. I haven't been in the country or town or wherever. My wife and I were wanting to start a family, a little larger family. He wanted to adopt some folks." He's like, "I'm not driving that car. You know, I never even sat in the car." And he goes, "How much?" He goes, "What are you thinking?" I was like, "You know, so it has no more miles on it." He goes, "Yeah, no one drove it. It just came off the truck. The title's probably still in the glove box." Because I mailed the car, I shipped the car, all that stuff. He had a shipper come get it. And he goes, "I never even touched the car." He goes, "Hell, it's probably got a dead battery." So I was like, I guess I'll give you what I paid for it, or you know what you paid for it.
Yeah.
He goes, "I ain't doing that to you." He goes, "Just get it shipped. You pay for shipping, whatever you think is fair. And just wire me back the money."
Yeah.
Okay. Car arrives, dirty as can be. Turns out one of his offices is actually located at like a salvage yard. Like a Charleston Steel or where. So the car just sat there at one of his offices, and it was covered in this soot I've never seen before. Like it was like an ash. And the front bumper was damaged a little bit from getting on and off a truck at some point. And I think I bought the car back from him for $4 or $5 grand less. You know, like 8-9 months later. Because I told him when I give him, he's like, "Nah, well, just give me this." And I think he said like $44.9, whatever it was. So I got the car back, and I drove it for another 2 years. I had a couple other of these along the way, and that car had the Meister shaft exhaust on it. It was in titanium. It was the most perfect driving car. It was like this. It was just, you know, it had 45 or 46,000 miles on it. Interesting story though. Up until I want to say however many months or years beyond 30 or 40,000, whatever it happened to be, there was a warranty on the bell housing that they would cover. And so Nissan, I took it to Nissan, and I was still within the mileage. And they were going to do the job for me, and they had to get the okay from corporate, like you know, like a recall or a TSB or you know, a goodwill warranty. Goodwill is what it called for. And I got a phone call. They said, "Sorry, we can't honor it. You're a dealer." I was like, "What the heck's that got to do with it?" Like, "Well, you know, you probably bought it that way, knowing you had to fix the job. You know, you need to pay to have the job fixed." I was like, "Well, actually, I sold it this way the first time, got the car back, and your service department made me aware of it." Because they actually called me from like Nissan North America to say, "Hey, we had to deny your claim," or they sent me a number like if I had to call. Or so I actually took it to Hudson Nissan, dropped it back off, because he's like, "Man, you know what? That's messed up." He goes, "They found out you're a dealer," which shouldn't matter to him. They took care of me. They charged me. This is in 2011 or 2012. They charged me like $2,100 at the dealership to do the job that probably would have been $3,500 or $3,600. So they really hooked me up. So props to Hudson Nissan. So, hey folks, appreciate your time today. Nighttime, daytime, could be 4 in the morning when you're sitting there watching this video, because you get stuck down that rabbit hole of car videos. But we do appreciate you guys. If you got any questions, and girls, you got any questions, 843-277-2983. Our email is somocosc@gmail.com. You can find all of our inventory at www.smccharleston.com. I'm sure Chad will throw some of this stuff on a little thingy that he does on the screen and all that stuff that Chad does. Say hi, Chad.
Hello, hello.
So guys, thank you. It's hot out. I got lots of work to do. Peace.